Hi, welcome to this week's Shrimps Fans Panel. We have back with us again Brian, one of our regulars. We have Freeze, who hosts the absolutely superb Morecambe Football Club podcast. And newcomer, we have Joe, who I bumped into at Wimbledon, who was leading all the chanting. Great show of support there, Joe. I'll come to you first, actually, because we've got two games to talk about. We'll go through them in order, I think. Harrogate, was that a game that you think we deserved to win? Did we do anything much different in that game to what we've done in previous ones?
I think in the first half we were set up incredibly well. I think we kept them really quiet. The only two chances I can think of from a Harrogate perspective were two from distance, not really testing us. And we scored quite late into the first half, and I think we deserved the lead in the first half. Second half, the pressure started to slip a bit. The pressure was high. And that 10 minutes in a build-up to their goal,
you could see it going for you.
Yeah. I thought we were all over the place, to be honest. The pressure was getting to us, but to show the fight and the character to go score a win after that was immense. I
mean, we all went for the weekend, and I was standing next to you. And to be honest, when exactly that period that you're talking about, Joe, I nearly leant to you and said, they're going to nick this, they're going to win this.
Yeah.
And then when they equalised, I'm like, you could see it coming, couldn't you?
You could, unfortunately. They were building, they moved it a lot better second half. They started off by going long ball for about 10 minutes to test us out. And then they pushed the fullbacks wider and wider. And they were getting crosses in for fun. And you could see it coming. And as you just said then, when they got the equaliser, we were looking at each other like, there's only going to be one winner here. I didn't think it was going to be us.
But fantastic, and to get it right at the end, how did that make you feel, Brian?
That's amazing, wasn't it? It was a great atmosphere, wasn't it, in that way shed of theirs, like
away shed.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, every football fan dreams of that kind of thing, don't they? But 96 minutes, it's usually us that's on the other end of these things, isn't it? We got it right. I mean, it was great to see us keep going right to the end there, get forward. I mean, he stole the ball off him, didn't he? Is it Tom?
Yeah.
And McAdam was in there. We had players running in there, and it was great. It was just massive 3 points.
We could have sat back and tried to hold a draw, couldn't we? But we didn't do that. The fans were shouting, weren't they? They were like, we need the 3 points. Attack.
The Carlisle winning, it was massive that we got the 3 points when you look at that. They won as well.
Yeah.
Swindon lost. Obviously, Harrogate would beat them, so
it sort of kept us in touch, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was a needed win. But normally in that situation, you think 96 minutes, you score in 95 and a half. Well, that's it. But it didn't happen like that, did it?
Oh, my heart was in my mouth like when he
what do you think? Harry Burgoyne comes on, Joe. He didn't do anything to sort of harm his chances of being in the team, did he?
Yeah, well, I think the first game I saw him play the season was at Huddersfield away in the AFL Cup. I didn't think he was very commanding there. I thought he was a bit shaky, but
we all had doubts that day.
I think since then, in those EFL Trophy games that he's played, I think he has been quite good. So I was quite confident.
Yeah.
He's a big,
good shot stopper, isn't he?
Good shot stopper, massive goalkeeper. So I thought, if anyone, I think he's probably the best sub keeper we've had for quite a few years now.
Yeah, as a sub keeper, we tend to have young lads or players who've been a bit ropey. So he's a good one to have, and it was nice at the end. Because if anyone was up for it, he was massively up for it at the end with the fans, wasn't it?
When they all come down, it was great when they all come down and lads are
piling on.
The fans are piling each other, get them. It's just.
But I mean, in terms of the performance, was there anything you saw that you thought, we did that differently, or was it just a matter of getting the rub of the green?
I do think our look changed. We've not had a great deal of luck, but that miss from sort of like 2 feet.
Well, we genuinely
we genuinely thought it hit the post.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, no, he hit it, but it went past that post.
I was looking for where it went. Like when he hit it, I thought, why has it gone that way?
It looked impossible to do that. Yeah. And then obviously Harry made a really couple of good saves, particularly the header from like 5-6 yards. And it was a brilliant stop, and you could see their head in their hands, and it was like we're riding our luck a bit here. But like you say, you come to the sort of like last minutes. We did push people forward. We didn't sit there. And then, Chitonda did the business, got the ball back. He gave it away. But luckily, their guy kicked it straight towards Guion, and Guion just waited until he drew 2 or 3 men towards him and then slipped it in from
Because that was good. I mean, if there's been a criticism of Guion, he's a little bit selfish, and he's been a bit greedy, and you could have excused him for having a shot there, couldn't you, Joe? But
yeah, well, I've got to give him a lot of praise for that goal because from him and McAdam, I don't think I've seen that composure from us this season in the box.
In the box, at that stage of the game.
Exactly,
you're right.
composure, just to take a minute to draw the defenders in.
Yeah, you're right.
Give a bit more space for McAdam and the finish.
I don't think I've seen that many people in the box. It was great.
Give it a go, and we got what we deserved, and what a fantastic end to a really good day, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah,
It's a cracking day.
and like you say, being live on Sky and the celebrations were just.
It's good publicity, wasn't it?
We'll come to that in a minute because that's an important point. Is that how we've travelled away in good numbers, and we were up for it the whole game, and we were supportive of the team, and we got what we deserved in the end. Well, what we wanted in the end, whether we deserved it or not is another matter. But and then Tuesday night we come to the Carlisle game. I don't think we played that badly in that game. In many ways, we were organised a little bit better. I thought they didn't cause us that much trouble. You were at that, Joe. What was your view of that one?
I do think in the first half it was always going to be a case of Carlisle having the majority of possession. I've heard since Mike Williamson's come in, it's been a lot of possession-based football, very high possession, but little chances in comparison to how much possession. And like I saw someone say, they created more chances for us in that first half than they did for themselves.
Yeah.
I do think in that second half, a bit of complacency came into the game. I do think after we scored,
all round or just from our players, or
from our players, I do think we took our foot off the pedal.
Yeah, I agree with that.
After the first goal, after our goal,
it became too easy. I thought almost. I mean
they weren't threatening us a great deal.
And it's the same old story, Glenn, isn't it? We talk about it every week, it's substitutions.
Yeah.
Everyone, two lads come on, really full of running, enthusiastic. We're half asleep, and
we didn't stop the crosses.
No.
And they were dangerous crosses.
They were two good goals, weren't they?
They were.
From their point of view.
But from our point of view, we put similar crosses in, but had nobody on the end of them.
No.
And that's the difference between the two sides. But then, obviously, the last 10 minutes, we had Derek did his usual of throwing people on. Charlie Brown come on, and we had 3 or 4 really presentable chances.
That keeper's made a couple of decent stops.
The one from Adam Lewis is fantastic stuff.
I mean, again, he put in a couple of good crosses in when he got, but nobody on the end of them. Yeah. But young lad Nathan Snowball playing. I mean, how great was it for him? Did all right, didn't he, Joe?
Yeah, fantastic. Lots of energy into the team. And what is he? 16 years old.
Yeah, and a young 16 at that. I think.
Yeah.
Is he? I didn't realise he was that.
Yeah, he's 16.
Yeah, I thought he did fantastically. He put a really hard challenge in at one point.
I was a little bit worried at that one. I thought,
he got
timed it a bit. He got a booking, and I think the referee was, I could red you for that if I wanted, but I'm not going to.
To be fair, he got the ball.
He did.
He did get the man as well.
Massive, and I like to see that. He was aggressive on that one. He went for it, and bringing him off to bring Adam Lewis on. At the time, we thought not a bad decision. It did, it was after that they would concede the 2 goals. But do you think that, Brian, was that more about getting Snowball a round of applause from the crowd on his first game?
I think some of it was to do with the yellow card, to be honest, when he made the change. I do. But God, he looked really comfy, didn't he, for a 16-year-old guy?
He was good. He was composed, held his position well.
I thought he showed real promise, but I think he took him off because he was going to melt.
Oh, Snowball. But yeah, I mean, he played well. Hallam Hope, he was closing down the defenders really well.
Yeah,
I thought he might have got the man of the match, which he did. I thought he played well. Do you think, is he pushing for a starting place again? We've spoken about Dike in the last few weeks, and we're still not convinced that he's the man to
Dike didn't look much for the first couple of games, and then he had a couple of games where, for me, he was a real handful. But Saturday, I think he let himself down a bit. I think part of it is his actual frame. He's 6'7" or whatever he is, and when he runs, he always looks like he's in pain, doesn't he? And I know it's nothing against him, but he doesn't move gracefully, sort of like Peter Crouchish, isn't he? And when he's trying to close somebody down, he doesn't look like he's sort of really making the effort to get there. So, whereas Hope, as you said, did a lot of good work, and it was a good finish. Yeah. So, Yeah, probably. I mean, obviously, if we can get Angol fit, he was just coming good, wasn't
That
he?
was the one, wasn't it? I mean, he's not the out ball, is he, Hallam Holt?
No.
You know, he's not the one. If you're under pressure, he can push it upfield, which we tend to have started to do quite a lot with Dackers in the side. What's your thoughts on it? Would you have Hope or Dackers up front against Port Vale? Let's be specific.
I think I still start Dackers. I say it every game. I think we should get him off at half time. I know that sounds very early for us.
And just tell him he's got a half, so absolutely don't leave anything there.
Second half, every game, he looks knackered.
Yeah.
Like,
he's playing at altitude.
Yeah. I do think he's actually better, playing with the team than our other strikers. Right. That's a shock move,
In terms of the setup that we've got.
I do think, he just gets more involved, he comes deep sometimes. I do think he can link the play quite nicely, a lot better than some of our other strikers, which has surprised me given his frame. Yeah. But when it comes to we've been chasing the game a lot this season in the second half, obviously, being at the foot of the table. And I just think, he just looks knackered. He's not pressing us into anything.
Yeah. We mentioned publicity. When you were saying about the fans and it was on TV and great publicity, we've had Granada reports down today. I got interviewed, Tania from the Shrimpers Trust got interviewed, and Tom Collins, and that's going out on Friday during Granada reports. And we'll come back to this again. It's all about the protest, and they were asking what is the protest going to achieve. Joe, you've not spoken about this before. Is that something that you can see a point in doing? Can you see why the fans are doing that? Is it something that you think is going to be, positive, have any effect whatsoever?
Yeah, certainly. It will have a positive effect. It does get the word out, especially I think the last one on the front, a lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people around me who aren't even fans of Morecambe, aren't even fans of football, were talking about it. So definitely think it does send out a message, but there is only so many times you can do it until it's a bit bit cliched.
White noise.
Yeah.
I mean, what we were saying was, it's just, if something goes horribly wrong and the club folds in the summer, the fans can't be sitting there saying, we've done all we can, if they don't do things like this. No. So from my point of view, that it's about the frustration. It's about just wanting to do something. And we got Granada down today, so we've got a bit of publicity there. And you never know, there might just be somebody watching who's interested in investing in a football club or something. I think that's the hope. But I don't know.
I think it's massively important doing that protest on Saturday. Yeah, all for it. I think the protest group, what they call now, 1920 Union or something.
Yeah, 1920s.
Yeah, I think they've made a lot of progress quite quickly, really. But
I mean, what they have been clear, and what Tanya was clear to say, is that we want to control that. We want to control what the protest is, so there isn't something happening that is a bit more.
We can't risk a stupid fine. I mean, we all know that.
There seems to be some sort of cooperation between the 1920 group and the Shrimpers Trust.
Yeah.
And that's good, because obviously we're singing from the same hymn sheet, which is another cliche. But from an outsider's point of view, our voice is better together than it is all doing separate little groups.
Yeah. And that's the danger in it. You don't want some sort of small band doing something that might actually be effective, but it might impact on a game, for example. Yeah. A 20 grand fine could be the difference between us being able to bring in a loanee in January or not. It is that serious. So I think they're going about it the right way. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. I still think, that publicity is great. I mean, the guy on commentary I watched it on TV last night. He mentioned about our plight a little bit there, and to bring all the players in. So the TV companies are aware of all this stuff now.
And he does Match of the Day.
Yeah, there you go. They are aware of it now, Glenn. So it is moving forward. It's just up to winning him now, isn't it?
Yeah. We've had the two games then. We've had a win away at Harrogate. We've progressed in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy to the next round of that, to the knockout round. We get a home draw in that. We've got the Bradford game coming up, which is going to be a massive FA Cup game for us. 1,700, I think, from Bradford.
Yeah.
Before that, we've got the small matter of Port Vale coming. Sorry, Pork Vale, as your son calls it.
Yeah, Pork Vale.
Any hope in that one?
It'd be nice to see Conor Ripley again, and if he threw one in the net, I wouldn't complain. But obviously they've got. I mean, look at the lads they've got, Jaden Stockley, and they've got a really. He's put together a decent side there in a fairly short space of time. He's been very clever over the summer, and they had a bit of a shock 1-0 home defeat last week, so they'll be wanting to strike back. So I think it's going to be a tricky game. But our home form has been generally pretty good.
The actual form has, the results have maybe not.
Exactly, but we've competed just about every single game. There's only really the MK Dons one where we gave a penalty away after 47 seconds. We've been poor.
And even that, we competed with them, until they started taking over later on.
Yeah.
Anything that you can show us a bit of hope for that one? Not really.
It's a bit of a rogue shout. I actually do think we are going to get a point.
You do?
Yeah, I think we proved this season that we can play well against any team.
Yeah.
Really, the Notts County game, the Bradford game. So, that stuff like that really excites me. I do feel quite a lot of confidence, quite a lot of optimism. Some people might say it's stupid, but going into a lot of these games. So, I don't know. I think I can see a 1-1 on the cards.
Good man, Brian.
Yeah, I think we've got half a chance there in that game. Very physically strong team. Their manager likes to put strong outfits together, but
Pull themselves about.
Like Freeze said, I look turned a little bit at Harrogate in the right direction, and let's be honest, we're due a little bit.
Well, I predicted that we would get beat at Harrogate, so I'm going to predict it again in the hope that I'm completely useless and can't predict anything. And we look forward to speaking to you next week about a fantastic victory against top of the table. Come on, you Shrooms.